Welcome everyone to today's session. Today I'm going to go over the deployment guidance for Service Operation Workspace. This is the first session on the adoption series, and I will be your host today. And first, our safe harbor notice here. So everything we are going to be looking over today are forward-looking statements, and please do not make any purchasing decisions based on the statements that we are going to make today. Also, some housekeeping before we start. We save time for the Q&A, and we also have a Q&A button, so please use the Q&A button to submit your questions. And the presentation will be recorded and shared with you after the event. And after the event, you will be prompted to fill out a short survey. Thank you for your feedback. And thanks for joining me today. I am Paula Molina Kristen. I am an Open Product Manager for ITSM. And I'm joined also here today by my colleagues who will be helping me out with the Q&A. And so this is part of our Life of ServiceNow event. This is just, and if you are interested in other events, you can scan the QR code and register for future events. And so here is our agenda for today. First, we will start with a short recap of the previous sessions. Then I will also give a recap of the adoption blueprint. And then I will do a demo on the landing page, record page configuration. And then I will show the color card customization. And we will end with a Q&A and wrap up. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. I forgot to create a poll for this session. But if you could quickly share in the chat where you are currently at in your
I got a
SOW.
follow-up. I think we can use it one from last time, actually, lucky enough. I just launched it. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem.
We want to know from you where you are currently at in your SOW adoption journey. Okay.
As usual, we got a little wide variety. Looks like a lot of folks are planning to deploy next 6 months. Looks like I'm looking to mature their use. Definitely perfect for that session, as Paul is going to show you a lot of advanced capabilities here today. So deploying, no official plans. It's all right. All the different answers are good because we got content for all the different options here. All right, we got about 75% of people responded. Thank you. So about 1/3, 1 in 3 people are planning to deploy next 6 months. We love to hear that. Awesome. And you guys are getting a lot of good insights from this session for maturing that deployment. So thank you for responding. We'll end this poll and share it. There it is. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Deacon, for launching the
Yeah,
poll.
no problem.
So we can continue now. And so I'm going to do a quick recap of the adoption series. We start on the first session on giving a demo on the life of a ServiceNow service desk agent. And this included key capabilities like the SOW landing page, on-call scheduling, major incident management with Now Assist. Then on our second session, we went over the different phases of adoption and also gave a demo on configuring the landing page. On today's session, we are going to continue with the configuration of the landing page, of the record page, and also do some customization. And on our last session next week, we are going to be covering how to migrate from Agent Workspace to Service Operation Workspace. And yes, and now over the Service Operation Workspace adoption blueprint. And you might already be familiar with this. We have 4 different phases. We have the foundation, crawl, and walk, run phase. And on today's session, we are going to be focusing on the walk and run phases, which are extending your use cases to tier 2 agents and also using other automation tools. And here you can also see the proposed SOW product adoption journey. Here are the phases aligned with the products. And yes, so here is my agenda for today's demo. I will start with the configuration of the landing page. Then I will go over the configuration of the record page, and I will quickly show a short customization of the color card. Okay, so I will go over to my instance. Okay, so here I am logged in as the system administrator. And if I go into service operation workspace, here here is the landing page. And I will show you now how you can configure, how you can control how users land into SOW. So if you go into the application navigator and you go to service operation, workspace, and you go to configurations, I already favorited. So, and here under configurations, and you go to initial setup, and you click configure. And now here we go into landing page redirection. And so here we have our 4 different system properties. I will start with the out-of-the-box one, which is the home page destination rule. So this is activated out of the box, and this controls where users, which users, when they log into ServiceNow, will be redirected to SOW. So if we click on configure, and we see that here users that have the IT role and are not admins will be redirected to SOW. So if I go into the user criteria to show you, I can see that users that have the IT role and do not have the admin role and are in the next experience UI will be redirected to SOW. And next I will cover the glide next experience user selected landing page enable. This system property allows users to select their landing page of choice. So it is either for all users or for none of the users. And if this is enabled, any user can pick their own landing page. So for example, if I go here under preferences and I go down here, user experience, and I click on use dashboards. And now if I logged out and log in again, and I should be redirected to the dashboard. Yes, and so that is what that system property does. And so if I turn it off, so if I disable it, users like me who had already picked a landing page will still be redirected to their landing page of choice because the value will be cached in the user preferences table. So if I want to reset all user preferences. I go into the user preferences table. And I can see here, if I filter by my home navigation page, I can see here that I had the dashboard value, so I can clear that. And I could do that for all the users who had selected their own landing page. And the next one is the glide login home. So this is the default home page that is shown when a user logs into ServiceNow. So by default, it is the home page, but if this property is left blank, the last visited page will be shown. So this is also for all users. And the next one is the Glide UX user criteria enabled. This one is how you can control which users land into the tier 1 landing page in SOW and which users land in the tier 2 landing page. So out of the box in SOW, we have two landing pages, one for tier 1 agents and one for tier 2 agents. And if you want to see how they are configured, so SOW list and UI builder. So if I go into UI builder, and I go into the service operation workspace experience, and I can see here that I have two landing pages, one for the service desk tier 1 agents and one for the tier 2 agents. And if I go into settings, and I can see that the users who are in these audiences will be redirected here, whereas users who are in these audiences will be redirected to the tier 2 landing page. So now I could show you the two different audiences. And so the first four audiences will be redirected out of the box to the tier 1 landing page. So if I go to service desk agents group audience, then this requires that all users that have the service desk agent role will be redirected to the landing page for tier 1 agents, and also users with the admin role, and then users that have the IT role and are part of the service desk group, and users who have the SOW home role and are also part of the service desk group. And for the tier 2 landing page audiences, we also see that they are defined as they have the IT role, but they are not part of the service desk group. And also for the audience granular, they have the SOW home, and they are also not part of the service desk group. So we can clearly see that they are differentiated in that tier 1 agents are all part of the service desk group, whereas tier 2 agents are defined as not being part of the service desk agent group. So I have created two users, Bev and Don. So Bev is my tier 1 agent, and as I defined it, she has the IT role and is also part of the service desk group. So she's a tier 1 agent, and Don, he is not part of the service desk group, but he has the IT role, which makes him a tier 2 agent. So now if I impersonate both of them, so if I impersonate Bev, I can see that she's automatically redirected to SOW, and she also has the tier 1 landing page because she sees incidents and catalogs. And now if I impersonate Don, um, impersonate Don, then I should be able to see that tier 2 landing page. And yes, and I can recognize that in that I see problems and changes which are tier 2 agents work. So now I've covered the redirection for the landing pages. And now I will go over the dashboards. So we have two ways to look at dashboards in SOW, either by the home page here, and we have different dashboards here, or in the dashboard module.
Hi, Paula.
Yes.
We've just got a question in the chat. Could you just go back again? Ashwini was just asking if you could confirm exactly how users get associated to a landing page, whether that's tier 1 or tier 2. So just take it back a step.
Yes, so it's defined by the audiences. So we have different audiences for each landing page, as I shown in UI Builder. And that's how you can configure which users are in each group. Does that answer the question? Sorry. I don't know why it's not showing. Sorry, it's not showing, but should be.
It's because you're impersonating as a different user, yeah.
Sorry, yes. Thank you for noting that. Yes, but it's controlled in UI Builder.
There's also some questions and points about having hybrid groups, so where you don't have first and second line groups, you have groups that contain both first and second line agents in there. So this is a single dashboard setting, and there is no way to have a user preference behind it. I believe it is just you get one or the other, and then you are able to switch between them if you need to.
Yes. Yes, we have two out of the box landing pages, and if you wanted to add your own variant, you would need to duplicate one of the landing pages. Is that the question?
Yes, I think that's a good answer. Yeah, so creating a new landing page, a new home page for multiple roles. You can have as many different variants as you like, and you just need to create the audiences for those. So if you do have pure first line groups, pure second line groups, and then multiple role groups, you can have 3 different landing pages to suit them as well.
Yes. Thank you, Jim. And yes, so now moving over to the dashboard configuration. So here you have your dashboards in the home page or here in the dashboard module. And also here in the dashboard module, if you have the right roles, you could also custom configure it here. And if you would like to add your own dashboard, you could also do that. So I have bookmarked my own dashboard that I created for the demo. And I have here in bookmarked here, so if I go to my own dashboard and I would like to add this dashboard to the service operation workspace, I will click on edit and click here in view dashboard details. And here in dashboard visibility, I would add service operation workspace. And save it. And now if I go back to service operation workspace and I refresh it, I should now be able to also see my own dashboard here. And yes, that was for dashboards. And now moving over to the service desk agent role. So I know Keka already covered it last week, but I will cover it again quickly. So if we go into, again, to Admin Center, and we have introduced a new service desk agent role because we had the feedback that users did not want to grant everyone the IT role. So in order for users to use SOW without having to have the IT role, we created the service desk agent role, which I granted it to the service desk group, and I created this text desk user. And if I go into the user and I go into the roles, I can see that it has read and write, access to incident, change, problem, interaction, and also has read as access to the CMDB, but does not have the write access to the CMDB, which means that it can read CI data, but it cannot configure it. And most importantly, it does not have the IT role. So now another thing is that in the application navigator, when you go into incident and if you click create new, it will always take you to the classic UI view. And if you want to configure it, you could go into modules and change the link. So if I go here into modules, and I filter by the incident table, and I have created a copy of the create new module, so create new SOW, and the only thing I changed was the URL. So if I go into the tab link type and I just change this to this URL, and if I now type incident, and I click on create new SOW, that will take me directly to the SOW version to create a new incident. Now I will go over to lists. So here we have our default lists and my lists. And here we have different, if you want to see how it's being configured, you can go here into sys UX underscore list menu config, point list. And if you go into default SOW, and here you have the categories, and you can activate and deactivate them or change the order. And the categories are the headings that can be expanded, and the UX links are the list that contains the query to display the records that are required. And now, so yes, and that were the lists. And you also here have my lists, and you can create your new lists. And also you can also create from here. You want to see, for example, all the incidents that are assigned to me, and I would like to save a copy, and it will be saved here. And yes, so that was for the list. And now if we go into the record page, I had already opened it here on my internet. And so here in the record page, here we have the tabs here. So you can open many tabs here. You have here your UI actions, but also here in the menu, here you have your UI actions. And here is the contextual side panel. And for incident and for other records, if you want to configure it, you can go into configurations. I will just start it again. You can either go there in the menu or also here under incident management. And you can click configure, and here you can configure the incident record page. So here you have the different sections that are available, for example, for the overview or for the details tab, also your response templates and the incident management properties. And you could also disable the visibility for tier 1 agents, because we also got feedback that many tier 1 agents do not want to be redirected to the overview tab, but go straight into the details of the record. So you could disable it here. And for problem and change, it's different in that you have different containers for each state life cycle. So so we have different containers for each state of the problem life cycle. And for each state, for each container, there are different sections available. So these sections are available for the state new, and you can configure the sections fields here too. And yes, so here is where you could configure your section fields that are shown in each section. And yes, the same applies to change management. And now if we go back to the record page, and now I will show the UI actions, and yes. So next is the UI actions. So we have here, as I show you, the UI actions, or also here. So if you want to, for example, I created this UI action copy incident SOW, and if I go into UI actions, and I filter by the incident table, and I go into So yes, I created a copy of this copy incident, and rename it copy incident SOW. And so here is the script logic for the classic UI, and down here is for the workspace. So I currently have it as a form menu, but if I would like to have it as a button, I could click here. But if I click both, the form menu overrides. So I will save it like here. And now if I go back to my incident record that I closed, yes, here if I refresh it, now I have here the copy incident SOW UI action as a button. But we also have here our what we call a UI action layout group. So if we want to look at how this is configured, we can go here and type sysux form action layout group. Point list. And if I go into create for incident, and I can see this layout group contains UI actions and declarative actions. For example, this one is a UI action, and this create change request is a declarative action. So yes, here are the layout groups that are shown in the record page. Now moving over to the contextual sidebar. So here is you have your record information, and it should act like a smart assistant. Also here, recommendations, and is supposed to be a very smart feature. So it's contextual because it's supposed to surface the most relevant information when your agents need it. And it changes dynamically based on the type of record, the installed applications, and also the stage of the life cycle of the record. So here we have recommended actions, and if for incident we have it is not turned on out of the box. So if you want to, is it not working for you, you can go into recommended actions, context. So you can go into incident context. If you go here in recommendations, these three are turned off out of the box. So if to turn it on, you have to activate them. And yes, so here are different recommendations based on the record. And now over to Agent Assist. So this is a smart search. You can search knowledge, articles, catalog items, similar incidents. It's just a smart search for your user and for your agent. Another thing that we recommend is to enable the search as as the agent. So you could as a caller. So if you're an agent, you can validate if the caller can see the same articles or has access to the same catalog items. So you can validate or grant them access if they do not have the required access. So to do this, you go into contextual search, table configuration, and you go into agent assist, incident deflection SOW. And here you click here and you enable search as the caller. And now if I go back to my to service operation workspace, and I should refresh it. And go into agent assist. And now I could validate if the caller could also see the same catalog items that I can see. And if I order it, it will order as the caller. And yes, so that's something we recommend doing to enable search as the caller. And now over to response templates. So normally we have response templates here. In email we had it here, and you could apply your response templates, and we have 2 response templates out of the box, and you could insert it here. But now we also have the possibility to have them here. And if you would like to add them here, you have to go to this table. It's called SN templated snip node template list. And here you have your response templates. And if I click, for example, here, and I would like to add a new channel. So I click on edit and I add the form channel. And if I go back to service operation workspace, I will refresh it. And I go to my response templates, and here I have my response template also here, and that allows you to have different response templates added here, and also copy it to also copy it and here, and add it also here. Or you can, if you had different Word documents, you could also add it here and have it ready to use whenever your agents need it. And yes, so there is also another way to show this, but sorry. If I go back to response templates, and I go to the form channel. I could also, if I change my scope, I need to change it here, but I could also add it here. And on the form page, but I don't think here my scope. Yes, and that should also work to add your templates. And now that I shown all the configurations, I will go over to the sidecar panel customization. So now we are moving over from configuration to customization. And the reason for it is that we had many customers ask us how to configure, for example, the record information that is shown. We had a customer case that they wanted, for example, that in the color card, they didn't want to have the time zone, but they would like to have the email of the color. So to change this, you have to customize because everything here is read-only. So if we, and to customize this, we have to go to UI Builder. So if we go to UI Builder, and here is where SOW lives. So if we go into page collections and we search here SOW, and here we click on SOW sidebar tab stop, and should be that one, yes. And here if we go into record information and we have here record information S and C. And it's the one we want because we want to change the record information. And so here we have the record information. And if we scroll down here to the color card tier 1, and we want to change this one. So, but this, we change the scope, and then we get the message that this is read-only. So in order to configure, we have to create a variant. And now I will create my own variant, and we'll call it custom demo copy. And I will create my own copy of this page collection. And then when the variant is created, I will have to scroll down to the script that is down here. And I will have to go into set record information primary details. And if I expand it, I have here, as you can see, I want to change this one. I don't want to have the time zone value anymore, the time format. So the time zone, I don't want that. So if I want to change it, I will have to go into the record information. So I think down here, you should have the record information here. And here we click on open record. And so here we have the SOW record information that is called in the script. And if we go into this script include, I had already modified it. And so for this demo, I had already changed it, but the one I took was this SOW incident info S and C. This is out of the box, so we do not change this. But what I did was to copy the get color ID, get color info function from here to line 187 for 47, I copied this get color info function and I added it here. And also what I changed from this function was to add in line 32 and I added color email equals color ref get value email. So that gets the email value of the record page. And now going back into UI Builder, going back to my script. If I go here, set record primary details, and I go here, and I type, and I already had it here copied, so I could just paste it, what I changed there. And so I added this line of code and to retrieve the email information from the color color record, and it then should show the color email here. So if I go into my record information, here should be the, instead of the time zone, should be the email of the color. So now I apply these changes. And now if I go into settings, sorry, I will save it first. And now if I go into settings, and now I change the order to 90, so it's shown before the out of the box one, and I click save. And if I refresh it here, and now I can see that here, instead of the time zone, it is showing the email of the color. So that is part of the customization in SOW. So for anything that you want to change that is read-only, you would need to create a variant and customize it in UI Builder. And now moving on to the Help Center. So here we also added Help Center, where you can get guided tours and create and also find out what's new for example, for SOW. So it's also contextual based on the product you are currently on. And the guided tours are step-by-step guides on how to use the product and to understand the value of it. And yes, so now we will end up with our last demo. Last poll question. So that was it for the demo for today. And I don't know, Tigan, if you could launch the poll question 2.
Yep. Great job, Paul. We'll launch it right now. There it is.
So if after this session, we would like to know if you will be more likely to adopt or mature your use of SOW.
If anyone's unsure and wants to provide some feedback, definitely useful for us to hear what we can do doing better. All right, so we got about 70% of people on. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this poll and share it out.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm happy to see that most of you would like to adopt SOW in the future, maybe. And yes, so to end our session, we have our next session next week on how to migrate from Agent Workspace to SOW using the migration utility tool. And I will also cover a demo on that. And Here are other adoption resources like the SOW configuration guide, product documentation, and also best practices in our Live on ServiceNow events. And yes, also here are other resources for you. We have ServiceNow Impact and training and certification in ServiceNow University, and also expert services community. And thank you very much. And if you have any questions, this will end with questions, or otherwise, thank you very much for joining us today.